We're live. I gotta come up with a new quip. And we're on the air. um, yeah. Woo! I'm pretty tired, so I don't know how good this is gonna be. But I'm just thinking about Is it now? Corruption, man. Corruption abounds. And yeah, let's not do that one. Where do I start? It's hard to get the thoughts flowing, but once they're flowing, we're rolling. We're rolling fat. Yeah. So the principle of Ahriman and Lucifer, the more I come to understand it, is Lucifer is like a hyper intellectualization of spiritual concepts and trying to be equivalent to God through intellectual power and like rationalization when it's inherently irrational. And the counterpoint to that is destruction of God through scientific, like, if you can't prove it, it doesn't exist kind of thing. And the way this shows up in the modern world is like a lot of people right now are like trying to rationalize God as if like we're at the apex of understanding, and like the material world is so well built out that it's like we think we're on an equivalent level with God now, and like we don't need him because it's like we can do it ourselves kind of thing, not realizing that like the whole structure itself is not our doing. It's because like the best leader in the world and like the best corporation in the world still operates through like individuals, and there's no collective intelligence, which is where the aspect of God will never be topped. Like, we may be a fractal, like holographic chunk of the divine, but like we're still just individuals, and we have no like equivalence to the ability and power of like, you throw a tornado through a town, that'll you realize how powerless you are, or like being a hurricane or being like a typhoon on a boat, and you realize how small you are, or in like a war zone even. And there are these like higher beings, and I don't even think that this is necessarily like an evil counterforce like Satan. I think this is just like our blindness, like cumulatively, because like 7 billion to 1, and 1 could easily wreck the 7 billion, but it's like that would be self-destructive. And I do think the religious institutions have like hoarded the wisdom and become less and less and less of what they're supposed to be, and have become kind of like a placeholder. But they're like, for some reason, I keep coming back to that. Like, somehow Christianity has failed from like uh, the way it's like passed down from like the archbishops all the way down through like the whole totem pole of religious thinking in Christianity. For some reason, there's like something that's off, and like we're blessed enough that God operates outside of that institution, and like for me, example for me, like Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," and I had this like crazy. It wasn't even a telepathic thought. Like this was a multi-dimensional thought of saying just truth, but it was like a whole big conversation explained in like one word thought. And I've been like deciphering it, like breaking that down for months now. And I'm like a very poor Christian. Like, and I'm not even a Christian unless God operates as an evangelist, which I guess could be possible. um, there's like no reason why he should have like connected with me, and I don't know if that says more about the institution itself, because the way I came to Christianity was through the Gnostic heresy, which like is very strange. Um, and like from all what I've seen is like the Gnostics are more Christian than like the Roman Catholic Church. I really think that the Roman Catholic Church has been corrupted by like hundreds of years of monarchies and power struggles and institutionalism. And like, I think so many people that preach and are in the churches don't like. There's like specific preachers who have a very good hold on. I've mostly found this in Orthodoxy, sadly, but like they have a very profound way of like speaking the truth, where like you can recognize truth when somebody's speaking versus just like air, like words, and you know, the eternality of the Christian doctrine shouldn't mean that like you only read the Bible. Like there's all of the saints who have found a proper way of theosis and like, knowledge, and like you can see this in like certain. I usually find it through like the monks. The monks have the best way of like uh, speaking on a sub level that's like more directly connected to the thinking than like when you go in to a church and with the communal group Like, I think when you're in the parish church vibe, you're in a state of reverence and like love and dedication, and it's not about like the question seeking mystical aspect. And in that methodology of the parish, it's very rare that you're able to come across people that are like blessed with the ability to like have the Holy Spirit speak through them and like really uh like they just the words just flow out and are like they're blessed holy words, like you can really tell they got it down. And like there's something to be said for that. That although there's nothing new under the sun, there's a way you can say the same thing over and over but in a different way, and with that, like, so it doesn't become crystallized and like, I don't want to say dogmatic, but like you read the Bible over and over and over and over again, nothing changes. And if you have that true direct connection, you're able to make a direct interpretation through your own mind, which is very powerful. And that corrupting aspect of so Lucifer, I would say, is like a hyper intellectualization and like trying to uh, put into writing and like crystallize that eternal infinite nature into something that's like said and done, when it doesn't work like that. And Ahriman would be a way of like is a way of like neti, not this, not that, where you're saying like Ahriman is just all of the not this, not that, trying to like make sense of its own existence by being in the not. And yeah, it hurts my brain. And you can identify the corrupting force of Ahriman in like the way that um, like good information will just become like tweaked and corrupted and like chipped away at, and like it's like these people that try to like discount the Bible like by singular verses that they don't like or that are like don't make sense, and it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater kind of thing. Because I think another verse is through God all things are possible, and that's like the eternal nature manifest. And we need to take part in that aspect. And the way that Ahriman corrupts that is it tries to like solidify a concept into something that is eternal, but it's not. Very hard to like process. It like generates confusion, and very easy to say that like generally it's like the confusion and like attacking negative deconstruction that is Ahrimanic. It's like it's not actually contributing anything new. It's trying to say that this is false, therefore this is true. That would be like the aspect of Ahriman. And like it's very hard because it's subjective already. Like a personal connection to God cannot be interpreted by anyone else. And yeah. It gets much more confusing the higher up you go and closer you get. And I think that's why Lucifer fell, is because he was so close to the top that he was like, I can make sense of this and I'll be able to do it myself. And that in itself became like a spiraling like descent. When it's like the biggest problem with religion is almost something you have to do and just accept versus like try to prove it. Like theology almost is like more destructive to faith than simple like blind belief. I think there's a video by Father Spirit and about blind faith in Christ, and it's kind of like you got to read the writing on the wall. And I've been able to notice and realize that like the way evil works is it like tries to like provide something that's more appealing, but then like you enter it and it just falls apart, and it just like it's like if an ephemeral mist, like a ghost form, and it just disappears into nothingness. Kind of like drug addiction. It's like super awesome for like a year, and then it just like becomes a mist, and then you're left like grasping at like nothingness, at what was once there. And you can see that in like all sorts of like things. And the hardest thing is to like try to grab on to the threads that are good and maintain those and still hold on to your discernment. It's almost better to not even try and just go with it. But like in the trying and working at it, you gain more wisdom within yourself and like confirmations, and you're able to like identify those like specters that just disappear into nothingness. And yeah, man, I wish this thing would tell me what I named the stream when I do it live so I can remember. Well, this is like one of the hardest things to realize in culture. So like you think like society is like a solid mass, and that like you build and erect something and then you have that good thing and it maintains itself, but there's always the dark side that's like chipping it away and like eroding at it. It's like erosion and rust and corrosion. And that corroding aspect is like always there degrading the good. And you have to keep like reintegrating the good and like reinforcing it and re-solidifying it. You can't. I originally thought was like, uh, you know, religion can just stand on its own and like it doesn't need uh, to be like fought for. But that's kind of not true actually, because like the darkness will keep on eating away at it until it becomes like a corruption of its form or glory, and then it fades off because it's finally lost like the gloss. Yeah, and like that's one of the hardest things about the subtlety of evil is like I'm noticing it like in myself, like the it's like a very slow burn. Um, like my mind and intellect is slowly but surely, what the hell, slowly but surely gets like crushed. Like I've been able to be like strong and like maintain my core, but like in doing that, you can't really do it alone. I get slowly like death by a thousand razor cuts, and you're slowly getting bled out. And like to re like get the so that the metaphor of light is much more accurate with a candle than like electric lights. Electric lights would be a good example of like false light, because like the light that you get from the sun is like full bodied and warm, and like it has, yeah, heat and warmth to it, versus like LEDs now are like a very harsh color spectrum, and like you can see there, there's no warmth, the color spectrum's off, and it's like it's always bright, but it's not the same kind of light. Versus a candle, you can see like the uh, the way it works in a dark room and how it like casts its light, and it like waves and flickers and like brightens and falls, and like it's not like electric light. Ah, yeah, I can feel the dark cloud is very heavy. I have to battle through it every single day, and it's like gravity gets stronger. It's like you're fighting against gravity. Yeah, okay, get. And yeah. Gosh dang it. I wish I had more flow of thought right now. Meow. Meow. Oh. 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 But yeah, I can slowly feel myself being turned into a husk. And it's a very intense battle just trying to keep pushing the rock up the hill. Meow. Meow. Oof. Meow. So yeah, that's all for now. Beep. Signing off.